take a look at what took place in southern Lebanon today. Civilian areas in southern Lebanon. For the first time in 40 years, there was direct communication between Israel and Lebanon, between their governments in an official, formal, diplomatic setting. All right. Obviously, back channel, always been communications, always will be communications. But for the first time, we saw direct diplomatic communications, not about normalization or anything to that effect. It's about the ceasefire that is ongoing and in effect, kind of, right? Because right now, we are in phase 2 of the Lebanese ceasefire. Israel has violated the ceasefire upwards of 10,000 times, according to UNIFIL, which are the United Nations forces in Lebanon, interim forces in Lebanon, rather. And so they violated the ceasefire over 10,000 times, which is sick, disgusting, twisted, not surprising, but also very upsetting because Lebanon is an absolutely beautiful country, beautiful people, maybe the best food I've ever had in my life, and I just would love to go back, but it's really not so safe. So this is what's going on. We're in phase 2 of the ceasefire, and I want to paint the picture for you because Trump has given a deadline that I guess Israel has in effect signed off and agreed upon, that Hezbollah needs to be disarmed by December 31st. Now, I don't really know how that's possible. I think the meat and potatoes of what they mean by that is that south of the Litani River, Hezbollah needs to be moved out to northern positions. They need to give up their sites to the Lebanese armed forces. Lebanese armed forces increased their troop presence by about 5,000 military personnel into the south of the Litani River. I believe 193 of the sites have already been given up to the Lebanese armed forces out of about 220, 230 sites. And a lot of their military equipment has been moved to the north of the Litani River. As for whether or not Israel has upheld their end of the ceasefire, I mean, obviously not with airstrikes. They have killed about 329 to 331 people inside of Lebanon since the ceasefire went into effect. About 130 of which were civilians, some of whom were aid workers. And they've destroyed countless buildings and infrastructure. So Israel has not agreed to their end of the ceasefire. Israel still maintains 5 strategic hilltop occupied bases on Lebanese territory. They have partially withdrawn from some areas, like, for example, they withdrew from Bin Shibel, I believe. But they have not withdrawn from the key strategic hilltop areas. Now, the reason why I'm telling you all of this is because December 31st is approaching. Yes, yesterday there were some talks, but all of the official statements from the Israeli government appear to indicate that they feel as though, despite the fact the Lebanese armed forces are doing everything they can, despite the fact there's been a small reduction of UNIFIL as per schedule, despite the fact that Hezbollah has moved north of the Litani River along with their weapons, and they're giving up their military sites south of the Litani River. Despite the fact that they're basically doing everything they can, Joseph Aoun, the president, the U.S. Zionist-controlled president, has said, the ceasefire phases are going to, they're going in effect. They're going on schedule. Israel is saying that they are probably going to do a war after December 31st on Lebanon once more. And I say, once more, what is happening right now? Is this not a war? Take a look at what took place in southern Lebanon today. My apologies, I don't know this exact city where this is, but you can see what Israel's doing today. Civilian areas in southern Lebanon. This is actually pretty minor in comparison to what we've seen over the span of certain days and certain weeks over the duration of the ceasefire. In some cases, we've seen absolutely, this is a massive bomb, but we've seen bombs that make this look like peanuts in comparison. We've seen strikes that make this look like nothing in comparison. even strikes in Beirut, as I'm sure you've seen. So I don't have a whole lot of hope that this ceasefire is going to be fully implemented. The idea that Israel's going to be able to wipe out Hezbollah, I mean, it's, again, insane. It's like the whole thing with the Palestinians. The Lebanese resistance is, by the way, even if not actively supported by the majority of Lebanese citizens, they are supported by a probably plurality of Lebanese citizens, and the majority of Lebanese citizens understand that, yes, even if we don't like the Lebanese resistance, we view them as a necessity to prevent Israeli occupation because they're the most armed, most capable, most combat-proven military force in Lebanon, far superior in all those capacities to the Lebanese armed forces or to what UNIFIL has ever been capable of or ever will be capable of. So this is what Israel is doing. I think that after December 31st, or maybe prior to, we will see renewed action in a very big way, much bigger than what we've been witnessing by Israel against Lebanon. Now, you might be wondering, oh, but Trump probably doesn't want the deal to fall apart. And if the deal is going somewhat well right now, then maybe he'll oppose this. Well, I just want to share this story with you because we just learned something that was rumored to have taken place back in February of 2025, that during Ortegas's visit, who's the U.S., I believe Ortegas is the U.S. envoy to Lebanon. Yes. U.S. envoy Morgan Ortegas, one of the U.S. envoys to Lebanon, wanted Israel to bomb Said Hassan Nasrallah's funeral in central Beirut. So during her visit to Israel, right before the funeral of the former Lebanese resistance leader's funeral, U.S. envoy Morgan Ortegas suggested that Israeli officials bomb the ceremony at the Sports City Stadium, claiming it would target resistance leaders. Okay? This is according to Israeli Channel 14. Take a listen. She usually deals with the Lebanon file. That's her file, he says on Channel 14. She is also aggressively towards Hezbollah, which is obviously positive from our point of view. I think that today we can say that she came here to Israel ahead of Nasrallah's funeral, and during the discussions in Israel, she was the one who suggested attacking the stadium in order to eliminate Hezbollah's leaders. She oversaw the funeral. During the funeral, and ultimately, Israel decided not to do it. So we will have to wait for the prime minister's statement. So this is the Israelis coming out and saying, we didn't even decide to bomb the funeral, but the U.S. wanted us to, like, really bad. They were pressuring us to do it before, during, and after the funeral, as there was, I think, 1 million or 2 million people there. By the way, the Israeli Air Force did a flyover, very low flyover, to intimidate the crowd at the funeral. Not once, but twice, with American F-16 fighter jets. So they're using our taxpayer dollars to act all big and scary. They're using our fighter jets to act all big and scary, flexing their muscles when they have to use Big Brother's weapons to even flex any muscle at all. But I think this goes to show what we can probably expect in Lebanon in the near future. The U.S. is currently building the single largest embassy that they possess anywhere in the world in Lebanon. Lebanon is a critical pillar of control in the Middle East. The French, the British have extensive cells within the Lebanese security services, the Lebanese armed forces. Not saying that the Lebanese resistance doesn't also have their factions in each of these respective organizations. They do. Everyone knows that, I think. But it just goes to show how important Lebanon is for the United States, and actually even exceeding the insanity of the Zionists when it comes to Lebanon, in that they actually were advocating before, during, and after the funeral of Said Hassan Nasrallah to bomb hundreds of thousands of people. There were millions of people there at the funeral of a revered public figure in Lebanon. By the way, Hezbollah is a political party in Lebanon as well. It's not just a military faction. They have members of parliament, and Said Hassan Nasrallah was also the leader. So was he sanctioned? Yes. Was he considered a terrorist? Yes. But you have to understand that there was millions of civilians there, and they wanted Israel to bomb it. Understand how sick and twisted that is. There were American citizens there. Nelson Mandela's grandson was there. Pepe Escobar was there. Professor Syed Marandi was there, I believe. There was dignitaries and religious leaders from all across the world who came in to visit for this funeral. I mean, it was a very big deal. There was press from all different countries there. And the U.S. was advocating for Israel to bomb the funeral. So if you think that the U.S. is going to come in and step in and say, oh my God, but the peace deal, don't start another war on Lebanon, all out war, right? Don't start bombing Beirut like you were again. You got another thing coming, and I got a bridge to sell you because, oh boy, they want a lot more than that. Before you leave, I want to say thank you for the support, because after 2 years of being banned, we are finally back home on YouTube. So be sure to subscribe to our channel and also join as a member on our channel using the link at the top of the description. I rely on the generous support of viewers like yourself to get the truth out to as many people as possible. You can also support the show on Locals or Give Sin Go. The mainstream media and the powers that be are never going to stop attacking us for bringing the truth to as many people as we do. Thank you so much for your support.